Good afternoon, the 26th day of May, the year being 2024. This is the last Sunday of the month. But with that said, it is 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Let us bring you up to speed with the latest in the world of news. Here are the highlights. Human rights activists in Kilifi County have lauded Governor Gideon Mung'aro for banning Muguka in the county.
Na tunapotoka kwa Muguka, twende kwa miraa, twende kwa bangi, twende kwa vileo vyote ambavyo vinaharibu generation yetu.
Learning at Nyali school disrupted as parents stormed the premises.
Parents, tumesema wacha achukue hao watu wakae nao huko na ruling yake, sisi tutakaa na shule yetu.
Kenya Kwanza and Azimio members of parliament rejects Deputy President's proposal for a one-man, one-shilling revenue sharing formula.
Lakini kwa hivi sasa hatuwezi anza kuzungumzia kwamba hati tugawanyiwe pesa kwa sababu ya idadi ya watu.
All right, once again, good afternoon. Welcome on board. This is TV47 News Now. Now, let us place you ahead of the Curve Matters News. Starting off, learning at Nyali School with a student population of exceeding 1,500 has been disrupted as parents stormed the premises to eject a previous board of management which was allegedly phased out after a successful election. However, this upheaval coincides with a ruling from the Mombasa High Court on Friday, March 29th, reinstating the previous board of management. This ruling has been met with a dispute from a majority of stakeholders at the institution. As a result, a low turnout of students persists at the school, with parents expressing concerns about their children's safety.
The Judicial Service Commission, the Supreme Court President, this judge ambao ulituletea hapa hana roho ya watoto. Watu waliotolewa ofisini badala aangalie ile ruling ya mwenzake, amekataa kuangalia. Anachukua watu wali hand over nini after all the evidence was given to her. Aliweka mbali, akachukua watu wenye wali hand over, akafanya kila kitu due diligence, amewarudisha tena pale. Parents, tumesema wacha achukue hao watu wakae nao huko na ruling yake, sisi tutakaa na shule yetu. Tutaendesha hii shule.
There is clear evidence of mismanagement of resources. The school is run down, the classrooms, toilet facilities, the teachers have not been paid for some time. In essence, these are the owners of the school because they are the parents. They own the school and they are not happy with how the school is being run.
Manake hata education ya watoto itarudi chini. Kila siku malumbano, kuvutana, haina natija yoyote. So what we want, lazima hii mata iangaliwe kwa kina.
Tunajua kuna maeneo wazazi wametaja, lakini letu ni kutafuta nafasi ya kukaa ndio tuweze kunukuu kila jambo ambalo linahusiana na services ambazo watoto wanapata, ili kwamba tuweze kushirikisha viongozi wote. Ombi langu ni kwa wazazi.
All right, from matters education, let us shift gears. During a heated debate, members of parliament from both the ruling coalition, that is Kenya Kwanza and the Azimio la Umoja faction, have rejected the deputy president's proposal of a one-man, one-shilling revenue sharing formula. They contended that such a policy would worsen the existing regional disparities that have been witnessed in the recent days, these leading to further marginalization of certain regions in the country. In contrast to this, Rigathi Gachagua, who is the deputy president, expressed his determination to advocate for the adoption of the policy, emphasizing its potential to ensure equity and fairness in the allocation of funds to counties. Dogo.
Mgao wa kwanza, kiegezo cha kwanza kiwe 1 square kilometer 1 shilling. Mambo ya voti itakuja baadaye. Voti ni hiari, lakini mgao wa Kenya kwanza uwe 1 square kilometer 1 shilling. Tunataka wakati pia sisi tuweze kupata maji, tupate barabara, tupate stima, tupate majengo ya kudumu, na hakika wakati huo tutakuwa wengi hata kuliko wao vile wanavyofikiria sasa. Lakini kwa hivi sasa hatuwezi anza kuzungumzia kwamba ati tugawanyiwe pesa kwa sababu ya idadi ya watu.
Hii ya 1 shilling 1 vote na nini hiyo, we don't believe in those nonsense. Hiyo hapana. Kwa sababu tulipopata uhuru kuna watu waliwachwa nyuma, kama Kwale, kama Northeastern, kama Eastern yote, hata pande yetu katika Rift Valley, bonde la Ufa. Hata kama tulikuwa na Moi mwaka 24, bado tuko na tabu kwa sababu mgao wa serikali haikuweza kufika. So mimi nataka niseme tunahitaji usawa wa maendeleo katika nchi mzima.
But mambo ya 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, that one even the people of Gusii, we will not accept, because it will continue sidelining the people and the children of Matuga.
And now to stories of Jaba, real Jaba. Human rights activists in Kilifi County have hailed Governor Gideon Mung'aro for banning Muguka in the county. Speaking in Malindi, the activist stated that Muguka was spoiling the young generation and promised to give the governor full support to ensure a total ban. The governor, that is Governor Mung'aro, announced the ban on Friday, being the second county in the coastal region after Mombasa, which also through its governor Abdul Somad Sharif Nasir announced total ban. Earlier, the activists had called upon the governor to effect the ban, and now they are also calling upon other counties in the region to wipe out Muguka completely, saying it's the only way to deal with the menace.
Na tunapotoka kwa Muguka, twende kwa miraa, twende kwa bangi, twende kwa vileo vyote ambavyo vinaharibu generation yetu. Mihadarati hatuitaki tena ndani ya pwani, na tumesema kuwa hatuitaki. Comrades power!
Ieleweke kwamba hii amri si ya gavana mwenyewe, ya kwamba yeye ndiye ameamka tu na kupiga marufuku Muguka, bali hili ni jambo la wananchi wa Kilifi ambao walikuwa wamelalamika muda mrefu na kumuomba na kuiomba serikali ya kaunti ya Kilifi kupiga marufuku biashara kama hii, biashara ambayo imeathiri vijana wetu wengi. Hivi sasa ukiangalia vijana wengi wamekuwa hawana akili, wamekuwa wazimu, wengine wamekuwa wagonjwa kwa ajili ya kutumia Muguka.
Wanafunzi shule hawapati masomo vizuri kwa sababu mtoto hata wa miaka 10 anaweza pata Muguka ambayo inaweza kwa shilingi 30. We cannot put economic value na tuache our kids are suffering, our kids are not getting what they are supposed to get.
It has been a struggle over the years in Kilifi. Basically, people tend to think that Muguka is not a drug, though it's being abused. Na ndio maana tuko na vijana wengi sana ambao wanaacha shule, wengine hawajamaliza darasa la 8.
Vijana watakuwa na afya njema, jambo la kwanza. Jambo la pili, watakuwa na uwezo wa kwenda shuleni ipasavyo. Jambo la tatu ni kwamba security itazidi kuwa improved katika kaunti yetu ya Kilifi. Jambo la 4 ni kwamba hata familia itakuwa na maadili mema ili kuweza kuimprove maisha yetu kama familia na kama jamii Kilifi County.
All right, let us again shift gears from stories at Jaba to matters politics, whereby Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua lashed out at a section of leaders in President William Ruto's Rift Valley backyard for showing division in Kenya Kwanza with their Mount Kenya counterparts on the region's supremacy politics and 2032 succession politics. Gachagua, who spoke in Uasin Gishu County, told them to hold their horses, saying his sole agenda is to make sure President William Ruto successes in his development agenda until the end of his term. Kenya Kwanza leaders led by Roads Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen threw their weight behind the Deputy President.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua took his push to unite the mountain to President William Ruto's Rift Valley backyard, where he read the Riot Act to a section of Rift Valley MPs, undermining his authority as a kingpin of the Mount Kenya region, while propagating opposition to his quest to succeed President William Ruto in 2032.
Mimi kama principal assistant to the president, I have a responsibility to make sure the president succeeds. And that is my focus for now. Sasa iko wengine mumeshikana hapa Rift Valley na wana vijana wengine huko kwetu ati wanapanga siasa ya 2032. Nyinyi mnataka kumrithi Rais William Ruto akiwa hai. Sasa hii upuzi ya 2032 ni ya nini?
Kazi yetu ni kufocus kusaidia rais na naibu wa rais kujenga nchi. Na usiogope wewe, your excellency, sina uwezo kukuadvise, lakini wacha niseme kidogo ile nilipata in the last 10 years. Usiogope kupigiwa kelele. Kama utapigiwa kelele, ujue kiti yako ni bure. Lakini kama kiti yako ni tamu, lazima watu wakuwe wanang'ang'ania, wanataka hiyo utamu yenye wewe unasikia kukalia hiyo kiti.
Gachagua, who spoke during the ordination of Reverend John Kiplimo Lelei as Auxiliary Bishop of Eldoret Catholic Diocese in Eldoret Town, told a section of Ruto's allies in the region to keep off Mount Kenya politics.
Mimi naomba watu ya bonde la ufa, tafadhali. Sisi tuliunga Rais Ruto mkono kwa hiari yetu na kwa kupenda. Na tunaendelea kumuunga mkono. Tunaomba heshima kidogo. Msijaribu kutupangia siasa ya Mlima Kenya na kutupangia uongozi wa Mlima Kenya.
Na kuna wachache tu wanapenda vitina. Na naibu wa rais, kwa sababu mimi ni msema ukweli kama wewe, tutawataja majina siku moja. Ndio hawa wananchi tulaani hawa, tufukuze kabisa kama Chesa Wilia, tuwapotee hii dunia, waziwache kuharibu hii serikali. Na wengine wao ni marafiki wetu na tunawajua kwa sura, majina, namba za simu, girlfriends yao, bibi za.
Kura tunaelekea, bere iko sawa. Tuendelee kushikana, tuendelee kujenga nyumba yetu, ile nyumba ya UDA, na tuendelee kujenga umoja. Na tuendelee kuheshimu viongozi. Na ni vizuri tujue kura tulitoka kwa milima, na mahali tuko tunatambua rais wetu na naibu wake wasitushikilie, tuende hatua hiyo nyingine.
During the function, Ruto's allies in the Rift Valley threw their weight behind the Deputy President, who this week extended an olive branch to retired President Uhuru Kenyatta in his bid to consolidate Mount Kenya unity.
Sisi tunakuunga mkono, na ukitaka tutembee kila mahali, sisi hatuna shida hapa nyumbani. Pea sisi kazi mahali nyingine tukufanyie, lakini tembeleanga sisi vile umekuja leo, tunakuja tunafanya kitu alafu unarudi. Lakini kazi huko weka sisi ni matingatinga. Tutaendesha hii maneno.
Uhuru's allies this week issued conditions for the Deputy President before he can secure a handshake with the former president. Among the conditions is to stop funding the Kanini Kega, Sabina Chege Jubilee B operations, and the withdrawal of all cases pending before the courts and the political parties' disputes tribunal. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Swahome has revealed the financial constraints hindering efforts to address quotas issue nationwide. The ministry is advocating for increased budgetary allocation to tackle this challenge in the upcoming fiscal year. The ongoing digitization of land records is expected to play a crucial role in rectifying historical land injustices, with Swahome launching the process in Mombasa, targeting over 49,000 title deeds.
There are those quotas that really deserve to be settled. With the budget, my land adjudication and settlement department is ready. Where we are as a country also, we are struggling with even raising taxes for some of these very key and critical services. But so far, I think for the next financial year budget, I may have just about maybe 1.5 billion. And you can imagine, I need maybe in the coast region alone, I need 10 billion. But those fraudsters that are using the courts to acquire property. So that's why I'm very keen to say that the courts must consult as much as possible, must seek evidence, documentary, from my registries. Freehold titles under the Constitution, Article 65, cannot be transferred or owned by foreigners. I'm not specifying any group, but you have to be a Kenyan to hold a freehold title. Other people can hold leaseholds up to maximum 99 years. And therefore, I want to remind this particular region, and not just Mombasa, Kilifi, Ramu, and Kware, and Taita Taveta. There is a lot of that happening. Somehow, I think the registrars may have forgotten, but I'm reminding them. And we will, of course, take stock and audit.
Okay, let us still stick with matters budgetary allocation, whereby Marsabit County Woman Representative, that is Naomi Wako, has asked the government to support the school feeding program without reducing its budget allocation. While inspecting the program in Marsabit, the Member of Parliament noted, or rather said, the program has helped children to remain in school after they were hit by drought in the recent past. Further, Wako said interferences with the program will lead to children dropping out of school. The Member of Parliament also donated pads to girls to maintain their hygiene while in school.
And to witness the food that is for school feeding program. And I want to take this opportunity to thank NECONEC in particular, because if it were not for NECONEC and for the school feeding program, especially during the drought season, most of our children wouldn't have been in school. But we thank God because of what you are doing and the support we get from the national government that has enabled many pastoralist children to remain in school.
Grappling all through with insecurity issues caused by cattle rustling. And mostly when you find the kids who are not in school, these are the kids who are engaged in cattle rustling. And I'm sure this food is going to keep this kid in school. And once they are in school, they'll get alternative sources of income as they learn.
Mambo ya serikali ambayo tunaomba mambo ya school feeding program. Tulisikia ya kwamba kuna hii mambo ya budget ya school feeding program itapunguzwa. Sisi viongozi ambao wako mashinani tunajua shida kubwa sana hasa watoto wetu wanapitia.
All right, it is 14 minutes past 1 p.m. East African time. Let us take a short commercial break, but do keep it TV 47.
Kila kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe, mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Sniff simba. Even the employees knows that so in the boardroom is a chairman. You. And the rest of what point are you? The minute you become now.
All right, welcome back and thank you for keeping it TV 47. Now to more news. We currently understand that the Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, together with a section of the Azimio One Kenya, that is One Kenya, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition, are currently attending a church service that is at the Nazarene Central Church along Gong Road. Let us cross over and get to listen what is currently transpiring from that end.
For standing again at this time. And if we are in a country that is democratic, a country that regards and respects every other citizen as equality before the law, it is important that we also recognize the church in Kenya. The church in Kenya we're beginning to hear the church again speaking. We had Archbishop Olesapit when he was in North Baringo, for example, challenging the president to say, before you send our young men, I don't know how many women will be going there, but young men to Haiti, and then be seen like an occupation force by that Caribbean country, why don't you deal with insecurity in North Baringo first? That was a way, as a church, that's a way Olesapit looked at it, Archbishop Olesapit. We need to tell Kenyans the truth. Even when I was here, I tried to check again with the president of the Law Society of Kenya. And the fact of this thing is, again, a country under the rule of law would not want to do things unconstitutional. Justice Chacha made a ruling in May to say that the matter of taking Kenyan young soldiers, police officers, to Haiti would be unconstitutional. And there were things that were supposed to have happened. But this matter was taken to court by...
All right, speaking right there is Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka commenting on matters of Haiti and the deployment. But we have our very own Micah Gungo keeping tabs on that particular story. More details in our subsequent bulletin. Now, let us move to other news. Civil society organizations from the Lake region are now urging the national government to fulfill its promises in the education sector, highlighting that some of the commitments remain only partially implemented. During a 3-day workshop in Bungoma town focused on deliberating the universal periodic review in the country, representatives noted that the government has neglected to allocate funds for school feeding in the 2024-2025 budget proposals, despite recommendation from the United Nations.
Kwanza the sister Ruth Kilobi, someone in Chwele Girls. Yeah.
We recognize that we have capitation to make sure that there is access and retention of learners in schools. But we say that it is not enough because what is being given as capitation is not, fulfilling the needs of learners in the schools, and is also not being released timely because we still have issues with children still being sent home because there is no funding in schools. So we have also looked at equitability in terms of education. The government has committed that both boys and girls are going to get equal opportunities to education. So how practical or how implementable has this recommendation been done by the state in terms of ensuring equity in provision of education? Something else is that about school feeding. We have seen that a recommendation was made that Kenya has to, as a member state of the UN, has to enhance and make sure that school feeding program is done. But to the contrary, we have seen even in the financial year 2024-2025 budget, the vote head for school feeding has been omitted, it's no longer there. So how does that now going to mean with the recommendation that the government of Kenya had?
And Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir has announced the introduction of Community Health Committee in partnership with St. John Ambulance Kenya, Mombasa region to curb on fatalities associated with lack of proper and timely emergency care within the interior of Mombasa County. Speaking during the closing ceremony of the St. John Save a Life Walkathon held in Mombasa, the governor hailed efforts by the volunteer organization in saving lives by supporting county disaster response teams during medical emergencies. This walkathon is powered by TV 47 and Radio 47 and Cape Media.
Very soon, for the young people, we're coming up with the Skills Mitaani program. For those who remember, when I was a member of parliament, St. John's were one of the beneficiaries of the Mvita CDF, where people can go for training, including first aid. One of the other things that we're also doing, we're proposing legislation that is going to come on board, and that legislation means that we're going to be having disaster committees from village levels. And preferably the disaster committees will be chosen from those who have already undergone this level of training. The same way we have community health promoters, will have disaster management committees at ward level. And this conversation will continue. We will be a first of many. The same way we were the first to be able to say we are paying a stipend to every secondary school child. The same way we were the first to say that kila mtoto katika hii Mombasa ECD afule. The same way we're going to be the first that no ECD child will pay school fees. The same way we will be there, the county government, to protect the children of Mombasa. Tumeelewana sio?
But we want to give back this money back into the community so that we can build strong, resilient communities, first aid trained, community health people that can give back to their community. So you will see a lot of that money going back to you. But I want to encourage you, you are our future. And I want to encourage you to continue doing what you do. Service above self.
All right, from the coastal city of Mombasa back to the country's capital, Nairobi, whereby youth leaders allied to the Orange Democratic Movement Party, which is the majority in the county assembly, have blamed a section of MCAs for not playing their role of the opposition in oversight. The youth allege that the MCAs who should oversight have joined Governor Johnson Sakaja and the government of the